Since ancient times in the world of Genshin Impact, the identity of this particular man has always been speculated. This man, he is tall, he is fearsome, and he has a voice daddier than all fathers out there. This man is Zhongli.
Just kidding. This man is the first of the Fatui Harbingers, Capitano. And according to recent popular belief, he is not just any daddy, he is the father to the strongest warrior in Natlan, the Pyro Archon herself. Before we move on to confirming or debunking this theory, let us take a look at the captain's first appearance in Natlan.
The Archon of Natlan. A force to be reckoned with. The secret of the ley lines is no secret to me. Long have they been destined.
Wait. So you just gave your weapon away? It's things like this where players spend all their primogems on payloads and left none for you wannabe son of Zhongli.
Bruh.
If you're one of those players, let me introduce you to LDShop.gg.
LDShop.gg is a game top-up platform for multiple games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact III, and Zenless Zone Zero developed by LD Player Emulator Group. Here you can get your primogems and Welkin at lower prices, including discounts of 2%, 5% and discount coupons for newly registered users. LD Shop is also 100% safe, as all you need to do is input your server and UID and wait a few minutes and voila! Instant primogems. Using LD Shop, apart from great discounts, you can also get your top-up double bonus when you purchase for the first time. And if you register using the link in my description, you will receive another 5% discount coupon as well. So with LD Shop, you no longer have to worry about farming primogems to pull for Kinich, who will be released on the 17th of this month. So don't just stand there, go check out ldshop.gg right now. So starting off, why do people think that Capitano is Mawika's father in the first place? Number 1, Capitano is most probably from Natlan. So far in the game, most of the Fatui Harbingers have been introduced to us in their own nations. Signora in Mondstadt, Dottore in Sumeru and Arlecchino in Fontaine. Scaramouche, despite being first introduced in a Mondstadt event, appears in the main story first in Inazuma. Then there's Childe, who appears in every single nation except his own. Moreover, Mawika herself tells us that every Harbinger is driven by their own personal goals, and that Capitano too probably has his own reasons for being in Natlan. Adding to all this, in the fight with Mawika, the captain also employs a power similar to the Night Soul's Blessing, which is characteristic to people from Natlan. All of this points towards Capitano being a native of Natlan. Now number 2, similar fighting styles during the battle. In the battle between Capitano and Mawika, at various points, the battle seems symmetrical, as though it is a clash between similar skills or a master-student type of duel. Maybe the similarity is because Mawika learned battle from her father. And number 3, because of how Mawika's father was not shown alongside her mother and sister at the end of the Archon quest. This, along with the omission of mentioning Mawika's father's name, makes it seem purposeful, as though he is relevant to the future plot in some way, or is being built up for an insane reveal. While this all sounds nice and cool, the possibility of Capitano being Mawika's dad is quite low. From what we know, Mawika, who is a human Archon, stayed alive for 500 years by throwing herself into the sacred flame and emerging back in time before Natlan's destruction. By this time, both her parents and sister should be dead unless her dad found some way to stay alive for 500 years. Now, although this next point might not be completely accurate, Mika had described Capitano to be having glowing blue eyes, which is different from what we see of Mawika's dad. But this could simply be akin to Capitano's cryo powers and may not actually be indicative of his pupil color. But if Capitano isn't actually Mawika's dad, then who is he really? Could he be the long-rumored bloodstained knight then? As we said earlier, the chances of Capitano being from Natlan is increasingly high, which makes it less possible for him to be the bloodstained knight who is instead from Mondstadt. Now, in order to find out who Capitano really is, let us take a look at the Archon quest once again. Towards the end of the Archon quest part 2, Mawika tells us about the plan to save Natlan, which was made 500 years ago, and about 6 heroes from every tribe who stood by the Pyro Archon to repel the abyss. We also get to know that Mawika, who is a human, prolonged her lifespan by giving her life to the sacred flame in the past and resurrecting herself in the present. By this time, 6 new heroes from every tribe had inherited the ancient names borne by the then heroes from 500 years ago. But in order to receive intel regarding the plan which was made then, each hero had to be acknowledged by those previous ancient name bearers. Mavica also tells us that Xilonen from Children of the Echoes, Kinich from Scions of the Canopy, and Ian San from Collective of the Plenty are the heroes who have been acknowledged by their names so far. While in the Night Kingdom, we were also able to witness Mualani being acknowledged by her ancient name, following which she rapidly receives memories as well as intel regarding the plan that was made 500 years ago. The ancient hero who acknowledges Mualani belonged to the same tribe, the People of the Springs, and was a giant by the name of Tupac. The letters we see on Tupac's body matches the letters on Mualani's ancient name, that is Umoja. Now this name Tupac takes us back to our first ever piece of Natlan lore, the Talking Stick. The Talking Stick tells us about 6 heroes including Tupac who tackled the black tide of the abyss 500 years in the past. Now apart from Tupac, who was said to be from the tribe the People of the Springs, there was another hero, Sujata, who was called the Chief of the Mines, meaning he belonged to the Children of the Echoes like Xilonen. Then there was also the hero Burkina, whose Saurian companion was said to be Kongomato, or the gluttonous mountain king Yumkasor we see today as a normal boss. This means that the hero Burkina belonged to the Scions of the Canopy, like Kinich. Similarly, another hero was Menelek, whose Saurian companion was said to be Ngobu, or the gold flame tyrant Kukasor, who is another normal boss. This means that Menelek probably belonged to the Flower Feather clan of the Kukasors. And now finally, the remaining 2 heroes, namely Wanjiro and Sanhaj Kompore, should probably belong to the remaining tribes, that is the Masters of Nightwind and the Collective of Plenty. But these 6 heroes were brought together by the one who wielded the Talking Stick as a weapon, a warrior of Natlan who didn't belong to any one tribe, Tenoch. Later at the end of the Archon quest, we can see Tenoch once again, and it is revealed to us that Tenoch gathered all 6 heroes of the 6 tribes on the orders of the Pyro Archon in order to carry out the plan to defeat the Abyss. Going back to the cutscene, Capitano claims that Mavica's plan has come to an impasse and that it now falls to him to create new rules for Natlan. But if Mavica's plan was shared only with Tenoch and the 6 other heroes, and if the intel of that plan would only be received by today's heroes when they were acknowledged by their ancient name, then how does Capitano know about the plan, as well as the secrets of the ley lines? From the conversation between Mavica and Tenoch, it also seems that Tenoch wasn't on board with the plan but had no choice to accept because he knew how cunning the Abyss was. Tenoch also tells Mavica to earn them the victory they deserve, and that if she failed, he would find a way to collect the debt. Now if we take a look at Capitano's arrival in Natlan, the timing seems very unusual, as though he was waiting for when Mavica's plan would fail and was coming to collect the debt. So what if Capitano is neither the Pyro Archon's father nor the blood-stained knight like we thought, but the lone exiled warrior of Natlan who led the 6 heroes against the black tide of the Abyss 500 years ago? What if Capitano's true identity is actually Tenoch? But how could this be possible? How could a normal Natlan warrior survive for more than 500 years? From the Talking Sticks lore, we know that along with Tenoch, the 2 normal bosses we fight today had also joined the battle against the abyssal black tide. Kongomato, who was a normal Yumkasor, turned into the gluttonous mountain king and has been alive for 500 years. Same goes for Ngobu, who was a normal Kukasor that turned into the Gold Flame Tyrant and has also been alive for 500 years. And the reason for this is said to be the Abyssal Corruption. So if the Abyssal Corruption could turn normal Saurians who usually live up to 100 into buffed up creatures having lifespans over 500 years, couldn't it be possible that the Abyssal Corruption also has the same effect on Tenoch, a human with less than 100 years of lifespan, causing him to change in appearance and survive for over 500 years as well? After the fight ends and Capitano escapes, Mavica also says that she felt an unusual presence within Capitano, which could most probably be that of the abyssal corruption. And as for what's stopping this abyssal corruption from killing Capitano, given that abyssal energy is countered mostly by elemental energy, it could be the Tsaritsa's power in the form of a delusion, keeping the abyssal corruption at bay. So this means that Capitano's true identity is most probably of Natlan's ancient hero Tenoch, who has changed in appearance and survived for over 500 years due to effects of the abyssal corruption, and has now powers not only of the abyss, but also of the Tsaritsa, as well as Natlan's Night Soul's blessing, turning him into the strongest man in Teyvat, as well as the #1 Fatui Harbinger.